Moments after, I was married for the second time in 3 days. With the same woman, I found myself sitting at the back seat of a car, feeling a mixture of elation due to marriage and a mild nausea due to a strong turnout of persuasive relatives armed with bundi laddus, an Indian sweet made of flour and massive amount of sugar. Suddenly, halfway between our wedding venue and the honeymoon suite, my brother-in-law turned aside and said, "KK, you are now married to my sister. Congratulations. I wish you both the best. However, if you don't keep her happy, I will hunt you down and kill you. Don't ever forget that." Up to this point in time, my brother-in-law was the nicest and the sweetest human being I had ever met. But in one moment, he went on from being Satish Shah to Sunny Deol, and I suddenly felt powerless. As he had requested politely, I ensured to always keep his sister happy. Which makes this incident as one of the only two coherent memories I have of that 1 week. Those 7 days of incessant marrying, feasting, changing, and smiling. Oh my God, smiling? The relentless smiling. The rest of my wedding experience, my friends, is a psychedelic PowerPoint slideshow of smudged, out-of-focus images. And once in a while, I spot myself popping in and out of these images just like Jason Bourne wearing a sherwani. A long Indian coat like that. You know what I mean. The only other incident I actually recall is while sitting in a romantic honeymoon room at the hotel, looking deep into my bride's eyes. Half an hour later, I was still pulling the squiggling hairpins out of her hair, filling the empty coffee cup. All this while, a plethora of cloth and foliage kept falling, including at one point of time, a purple orchid along with pot and soil, and a supporting rod to keep the plant up. I'm sure at this point, some of you would be nodding in agreement, reliving your unforgettable memories of your time. But for others who are new, unaware of these ways, allow me to take you on a whirlwind tour of controlled chaos, and that is our Indian wedding. For the purpose of this analysis, let us pick up the Indian wedding from the moment the logistics begin. The bride and the groom have already been arranged. A somewhat auspicious date has been fixed up, and both sides have already had the first awkward meeting. Both sets of parents have tried to size up against each other by asking a series of strategic wheeled questions like venues and menus. The bride and the groom are immediately subject to several weeks of intense wedding shopping, which means spending days buying an entire collection of clothes which you are going to wear exactly once or even less. The bride, for instance, will have this sequin encrusted orange or a red sari which weighs at least 30 to 40 kgs, and she is happy wearing it. Friends, in my case, shopping and include everything else was doubly complicated by 2 weddings. Let me explain. My wife comes from a Brahmin family in Andhra, where the scenery is eye-blindingly green. The weddings here are small, quiet affairs which are over in a flash. From the time the videographer arrives with his dodgy camera and 7 stenographers, to the time the last lunch-leeching uncle is booted out, only 4 hours would have passed by. I, on the other hand, am a Punjabi from Delhi. Our weddings are at least 4 hours behind schedule at any given point of time. The welcome drinks served in the Punjabi wedding go up well up to the next day, and the person-sized chunks of paneer tikka are freely available till the stocks last. Now, in order to please both sides in a jaunty secular spirit, we decided to have weddings of both denominations. Now you know that weddings are all about love, bond, lifelong relationship, and not really about the veg starters or the chicken Manchurian. Wrong! The weddings can be off. Menus can be notoriously difficult to finalize, especially if both parties come from different culinary traditions. Since we had to cater to both Brahmin vegetarians and carnivore Punjabis, we decided not to spend too much time on it, but move ahead with the so-called cocktail samosa strategy. Cocktail samosas, my friends, are the smaller cousins of the potato-filled Punjabi snack. Instead of potatoes, these contain onion and peas filling. Deceptively small, these samosas are culinary insurgents that infiltrate your digestive system and proceed to expand the gusto. Everything seems fine until the fourth one. But one more and suddenly you find yourself lying in a corner of the room and whimpering. That is why, my friends, at any Punjabi wedding feast, you will see exactly 2 waiters with a roasted chicken and a grilled prawn, and 74 of them with a platter of cocktail samosas. By the time the wedding starts, everyone is stuffed to the ears and peas and too full to eat anything else but to just sip a soup and proudly acclaim, "Everything was awesome, Mr. Khanna." Depending on the denomination of the wedding, the rituals can be performed before or after the wedding, before or after the feast is being served. In our case, the food was served right after, the rituals were performed right after the dinner, which means about 10 a.m. 10 a.m.? As per Western Europe time. As per Delhi time, it started at 1 a.m. midnight. So you can imagine, going back at least 4 hours delay our wedding was. The situation was further exacerbated by an over-enthusiastic priest who insisted on translating every single chant of ours in Hindi and Urdu, along with illustrating each clause with a real-life example. Therefore, my son, you must never ever be found alone with a woman except your wife. Never ever again. Do you agree? Of course I do. Do I have a choice by any chance? I said, to add some humor, can I make a few phone calls first? I just casually told him. And while I said that, I reached towards the mobile phone. 500 unamused eyes burnt holes into my sherwani. Probably this was the moment which would have tipped off my brother-in-law's belligerent splendor. Once the wedding is over, all that really remains is the honeymoon, which you all know is starting with the squiggling hairpins finding home in the empty coffee cup. Unexpected hairpins, my friends, don't make the environment conducive to, what shall I say, marital bliss. But things got better. They always do. That's the good thing about our Indian wedding. Just like a huge financial institution, they are too big to fail. Personally, I have little to add except this. The grilled prawns and the roasted chicken are out there somewhere. Go out, find them and get the full platter. Mr. Toastmaster.